Hey Anastasia, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses for your RayBan 5283 with the help of my GoPro camera. You're going to see everything involved. Let me set that down. This is your RayBan case, which says RayBan on it, your RayBan frame, and your RayBan cleaning cloth. I'm going to set that aside, and the first thing I'm going to do is pop. This is a beautiful black crystal that you picked out. Pop these original lenses out and set them down, and now let's get started. I'm going to put your frame into my Italian Santinelli LE1000 edger. It is actually going to trace the shape of your left lens, and then it's going to move over and trace the shape of your right lens. And then if you had a third lens, it would trace that. No, I'm just messing with you, Anastasia. I really appreciate you getting the two pair, this pair and the 2132 like I wear, the new Wayfarer. Of course, you're getting the purple crystal. I'm wearing the blue crystal, but we will show you all of that. All right, I'm going to pull your shape up onto my computer. Type in your pupillary distance of 65. This is a polycarbonate lens being cut for a Xyle frame. This whole process will take about 15 minutes. It's 8:03 on Thursday, March 6th, 42 degrees in my hometown of Durham, North Carolina. So your right lens is a -2 1/4 sphere, which I don't have. Let me pull that up. Hang on, what I had 2 1/4 minus 50. That is it. 2 1/4. Let me just double check that. Yep, 2 1/4 sphere. From your other pairs, let me check. 2 1/4, 2 1/4. I grabbed the wrong lens. Let me make sure I got a 2 1/4 here, and I do. Let me put this one back. Now that's the good one. Let me put that one back. Okay. 2 1/4 sphere. Let's block it up. I'm going to put it into my Marco 101 lensometer. Line up, find your optical center, and put a dot on the lens. I'm going to darken that so you can see that at home. And let's mark that the right lens. Let's do the same thing for your left. 2 1/4 minus 50 at 177. Let me turn that to 177 minus 2 1/4. Rotate this until the sphere power comes in perfectly. Check your astigmatism correction, and now let's put some dots on here. I'm almost out of ink. Okay, that's one dot, and that is the other, and that is marked left. So now I have to line this up. I've got to put a block on here which is going to hold that in place while it's cutting. So I'm going to put that in there, pull off the sticky side, get everything lined up in the optical center. We are good. Now let's do the same thing for the left. Pull that sticker off, and we are ready to start cutting lenses. Now I'm going to put your right lens into my edger and hit the start button. The first thing that's going to happen, the LMU is going to come down and trace the shape of your frame onto the lens to make sure it's large enough to cut out, and it will. But this is just a routine operation. There's no way I can override it. It's now tracing the shape of your frame onto the lens, and just doing it on the concave side of the lens, which is closest to your eyelashes, and now it is tracing the convex side of the lens. The actual cutting wheel is down here on the bottom. That is the heavy grit sandpaper. This wheel in the center with the channel is going to put the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. So this will get loud. I'll have to close the door, but for now I want you to see your lens strike the cutting wheel. There we go. Of course, here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, you buy the frame and the lenses are free. It's free single vision lenses. This is the black crystal. It's also available in the striped brown, which is beautiful. Comes in 2 sizes. This is the larger 49. There's a slightly smaller 47 in both colors. Hopefully you can see this, the RayBan 5283, color 2034 in the 49 eye size. This has the keyhole bridge where it looks like a skeleton key could fit in there, versus the saddle bridge of mine where it looks just like the saddle of a horse. This is definitely much more old school and a great look. I'm actually thinking about wearing this frame. I've got a big strong pair of magnifiers that I use here in the lab. When I have to tighten a black screw in a black frame, I need my strong magnifiers. I'm thinking about making these as my next pair just because they do look so good. Now the shape is done. If you notice, it's still flat all the way around. So it's going to put the bevel onto the lens now. The water is going to wash away any optical sawdust that is present on the lens. And in just a moment it's going to stop, and I'm going to try and get your lens mounted into your frame. Before I attempt to get it mounted, one thing I'm going to do is what's known as the safety bevel. First I'm going to dry this off, but there's still a little bit of rough edges going around your lens, so I'm going to smooth these out on my handstone, which is completely flat. Just works on friction. I'm going to scrape off what's known as the swarf, this little white powdery substance. Hopefully you can see that. And the thing that I love to do in all my videos, I wipe that off onto the counter and then I wipe it onto the floor. And as I'm fond of saying in every video, you know what's coming. Kids, I went to school for years to learn how to wipe stuff on the floor. Don't expect to be able to do it as easily as me on day one. Alright, so I'm going to tuck this in at the outside corner and using my thumbs, oops, it's still alive. Press down, it's still alive. And it's squirming, so I'm going to take it down just a little bit more. Take it down 1/10 of a millimeter. And hit the retouch button. And it's not going to go down onto the cutting wheel. It's actually just going to go to that bevel wheel in the middle and take 1/10 of a millimeter off, going all the way around. Sorry about my disco light going off. My $30,000 piece of equipment just wants to act like a strobe light. Of course, that's the only thing wrong with it is the blinking light. I can live with that. I can live with that. What if I thump it? Will it fix it? Nope. So in just a moment, we'll take this out and see if this fits any better. And now let's go ahead and try and get it mounted. I'll take it out of the chuck. Dry everything off. Again, the safety bevel, smooth out any rough edges. Scrape that off from the edge of the lens. And you know what's happening next? Yep, onto the floor. Okay, let me grab your frame. Again, I start at the outside corner closest to me, and I snap it in that way. We are good to go. Let's go ahead and cut your left lens now. Let's put this in there, flip that over to the left, and it's going to start the same process as before. It's going to trace the shape of your frame onto the concave side of the lens and then the convex. Now, let me go ahead and keep working. I'm going to take this block off, pull the sticker off. I'm going to leave that red dot on there so I can measure your pupillary distance later. Normally I would put this in here and check your astigmatism correction, but your lens is spherical. There's no way I could miscut this lens. I will have to read the prescription on the left to make sure that is perfect, however. Now your lenses are the unbreakable, bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection. We know what the sun's harmful rays can do to your skin. Well, your eyes are 8 times more sensitive, so you now have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. You never have to worry about the damaging rays to your eyes, which can bring an early onset of cataracts. But hopefully you'll get those when you're 80, not when you're 60. Thanks to me. This is a pretty cool RayBan frame though. You did very well choosing this one. And actually, let me see. Where's your other one? I've got your other one ready. Let me pull that one out. I cut this one earlier. Let me try and find that one for you. That's the tortoise. Here we are. just so you can see that purple. There we go. And that's the purple in crystal versus my blue in crystal. You can see how they do that. Same frame. Put mine on so I can see what I'm doing. Hopefully you'll love that color. If not, I can pop these lenses out and put them into any other frame that you want. Put this back in here. And that is the RayBan 2132, size 52, color 6054. Again, I can pop those lenses out and put them into any other frame. You had the Denver Broncos colors on the other day and asked if you were a Denver fan. Oh, I don't have the blue-orange. I just got the blue here tonight. Oh well, okay. I'll have that ready. Get those ready for bringing out there this weekend. So it's now putting the bevel onto the lens. Pull this out of the chuck. Dry everything off. Use the hand stone to put the safety bevel on there. Use my thumbnail to scrape that white powdery substance off. Your optical sawdust, and then wipe it on the floor. Okay, I'm going to try and mount this in here. Start at the outside corner. Push down at the nose. It snaps in perfectly. I'm going to take this block off. Pull that sticker off. Dry everything else off. And now I'm going to line this up and make sure that it is on 177. And I read -2 1/4, -50, perfect. That's 2 1/4. Check for your astigmatism correction. That is perfect. You have a PD of 65, measuring from the center of this dot to the center of the other should come up with 65. And that it does. Hopefully you can see my GoPro camera is good enough. That pulls up 65. Your pupillary distance is perfect. I'm going to use my optical grade acetone to clean your lenses off. And one last thing I'm going to do before I call you to let you know these are ready is to make sure the frame is in standard alignment where it passes the 3-point test, 1, 2, and 3. I put this on the counter. There is no wobble. I flip it over. There is no wobble. Each hinge lines up, each temple lines up perfectly. Anastasia, I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to cut your lenses for you. You could have bought your frames from anyone, but you bought them from the guy who gives you free prescription lenses. Well played, might I add. If anyone else has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. And Anastasia, hopefully it's been fun for you watching your glasses being made, and you have seen how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.